Good evening. Could everyone hear me okay? All right. Yes, I'm going to open the lines up today. I'm going to be on here for a short while, but I will um, open the lines up. Oh, this shirt here, this shirt is our shirt we're selling in our Teespring store, the Nefertiti shirt. I'm pretty sure you've seen that one. So make sure you go over to the Teespring store and you could get that particular shirt if you would like to. Also, before we get started, we're letting people get in the room. We have our life coaching that we're offering. Let me see if I can put that up on the screen here. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Where's images? There we go. Where we at? We can get to it. There we go. All right, this is our life coaching that we're starting to offer because there are people that ask me a lot of times, about their situations and their problems, etc. And I would like to dedicate that time to you, but in order for me to dedicate that time to you, you must set that up. Um, Rest assured that we call it Truth in Victory Life Coaching. I'm going to give you the truth, whatever situation that you're dealing with. And in order for you to have victory in your life, you got to have the truth. I don't believe in sugarcoating anything to help people. But I have an outlet for you to do that now. You have to schedule a time. We also have pricing there for that. In the videos that we're currently posting, we have a link for that you can put up. And let me see if I can get to that link right now. Just give me a second on my screen here that I could get to that link. Okay. I think it's this right here. We'll see if we can put a link in the chat room. If not, we'll do it after the fact. But if you're interested in life coaching, you can schedule something and we can help you through whatever, hopefully, problems that you have. I'm not saying I'm a miracle worker or anything, but I've talked to a lot of people over the years. I've had a lot of experience. I've grew up in a home, as I stated before. My parents were married for 8 years. They got divorced, so I know how it feels to grow up with your two parents. I know how it feels to grow up without your parent. I know how it feels to be extremely responsible at a young age because I was the only guy in the house at the time. Grew up in a rough neighborhood and survived that. I got married at a young age, and I was married about 9 years, had a child. I could tell you what worked in that and what went horribly wrong with that. I went through a hard divorce. I can tell you every kind of divorce law out there. Definitely can tell you about child support. Definitely can tell you about child custody. I could tell you about remarriage. I could tell you about blended families. I could tell you about a whole lot of things because I've lived these things. So if you're talking to me, I'm kind of versed on a lot of topics. Yes, on the show, we talk a lot about racism and things with that matter. But when it comes to life, I'm very versed in life more so than what I put out there. When it comes to finance, I know about that as well. Credit, why that's important. There's many things out there that we should talk about. So if you need life coaching, that is available now. So let me clear that screen off. We got about enough people in the room, I think. We should be able to get started. Let me move this out the way. Or let me minimize myself. How about that? Today, there was an article that came out, and actually a report from August 2017, and it was from the FBI. And they coined a new term, and this new term is called Black identity extremists. They just made up a term for black people. It is a vague term. It doesn't really identify anything. And it tries to group a bunch of people together that have so many different ideologies. Now, just think about the word black identity extremist. We're going to break that whole article down and also break down some things about those who's making those assessments. But understand something. This is nothing but COINTELPRO 2.0. This is why I have recently told you guys, stop arguing with people in the chat rooms. Even if they have a black face, stop doing it, because a lot of times they could be paid government trolls. They have those. Okay. Don't argue any points with them because it's not going to work. Don't try to convince them. Don't do anything because it's meant to disrupt the flow of information. It's meant to get you off what the subject matter can be at times. Now, with this identity, some of you, and I've said this before, I know what I can and cannot say. I get it. I've been got it a long time ago. But some of you get in the comment section and you say some things that's real out of line that I wouldn't say. What I'm trying to tell you is this. Watch yourself. That's the only thing I'm saying. Speak your truth. I'm going to keep speaking mine. But just it's a certain way you're going to have to do it. But I'm going to let you know what's up with this. So let me go ahead and minimize myself there. I'm going to put me right there. Let's move this out the way. Okay. So it says the FBI's new U.S. terrorist threat, black identity extremists. It said law enforcement calls it a violent movement, which is not. And critics call it racist. Now, before I get started, we haven't had no black equivalent to Charlottesville. We haven't. Show me the black people that's walking around any university of America with tiki torches. Man, you think they would let us walk around like that? Hell no. Show me the black equivalent of a bunch of black men and women out there with sticks and shields ready for battle. It don't matter what side. Show me the equivalent. Show me the black equivalent of Vegas. We have no black equivalent of that. You had the other guy that stabbed 2 people in Portland, Oregon a few months ago. Show me the black equivalent of that. All these acts of white supremacist terrorism, and they're trying to shift blame away from that to black people. And how many times have I told you, black people always going to be public enemy number 1. Always. And this is why I say some things that I say, because I see the writing on the wall. But let's go through this article, and you're going to see how BS it is. It says, as white supremacists prepared to descend on Charlottesville, Virginia in August, the FBI warned about a new movement that was violent, growing, and racially motivated. Only it wasn't white supremacists, it was black identity extremists. Now, amid the debate over whether the Trump administration has downplayed the threat posed by white supremacist groups, the FBI Counterterrorism Division has declared that black identity extremists pose a growing threat of premeditated violence against law enforcement. Let's stop there. Why are they having protests against law enforcement? You notice how they don't say that. They don't say, you know what? Law enforcement is killing unarmed people. Law enforcement is getting off for it because any other citizen can't just kill people and get off for it. But that doesn't matter. Your response to it is the problem. So black people are supposed to go through a genocide of their own people by the government, because police represent the government. Tax-paying people are being slaughtered by the government, and their response to it is a problem. It's your constitutional rights to protest. And the idiots that are doing things they shouldn't be doing, they are individuals. They don't represent a group. Even when you recently had a race soldier try to sue Black Lives Matter, a judge in a federal court throughout the lawsuit say you can't sue Black Lives Matter because it's not an organization or a group. You can't say this is the Black Lives Matter headquarters, this is the Black Lives Matter CEO, this guy is Black Lives Matter. It doesn't exist. So for them to do this black identity extremist, it's just stupid. So this says the FBI assessed. it is very likely black identity extremist perceptions of police brutality against African Americans spurred an increase in premeditated, retaliatory, lethal violence against law enforcement and would very likely serve as justification for such violence, reads the report, marked for official use only and obtained by foreign policy. See, so as long as black people are being slaughtered, that's fine. They're not addressing that. I'm just saying. But only how many people really retaliated? 2 that I could think of in recent time. And the 2 that retaliated were former military. It wasn't your average thug on the street, because thugs on the street see the police and run. Black people don't have a history of attacking cops like that. That is a bold-faced lie. You see the biggest thug in the hood, 6'5", swole up, see a little skinny cop show up, he running. He ain't trying to fight with no cop or even shoot at no cop. So that is some BS. And anybody from the hood know exactly. Yes, Sister Kimberly, yes, your pimp hand be very strong. Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, continuing. They say the August 2014 shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri was the catalyst for widespread anger and violence. The FBI report says, concluding that continued alleged police abuses have fueled more violence. Notice they said alleged. No, you have actually police abuses that's documented. What do you mean by alleged? You see how, now notice, all this is starting under Donald Trump. See, we all knew Donald Trump was eventually going to come after black folks. We knew that. He was making his rounds with everybody else, and black folks now, of course, we're going to get it the worst out of everybody. And this is what we was all trying to prepare you for, watching all the trends that we're seeing. Now, they said the FBI assesses very likely incidents of alleged police abuse against African Americans since then have continued to feed the resurgence in ideologically motivated violent criminal activity within the BIE movement. What is a BIE movement? This is the first time I've heard of this term. Who is a representative of black identity extremists? What's the organization? What's their Twitter? What's their Facebook? What's their YouTube? What's their Instagram? What's their Snapchat? What's the pecking order? They just made up a movement. That's amazing. The report says, they say some 748 people have been shot and killed by the police so far in 2017. It's a lot of people, including at least 168 African Americans. So it was more black people has been killed by the police this year than what happened the other day in Vegas. The report dated August 3rd, just 9 days before the white supremacist rally in Charlottesville turned deadly, appears to be the first known reference to black identity extremists as a movement. But former government officials and legal experts said no such movement exists. Correct. And some expressed concern that the term is part of a politically motivated effort to find an equivalent threat to white supremacists. So basically, the world all the way around is focused on white supremacists and white supremacy. And they say, oh, no. We got to find a way to throw the blacks in. Because you know, the blacks is the ones that is the ones that we got to have the focus on, not them. We may not agree with the white supremacists in part, but we don't want a bunch of Caucasian males being the face of domestic terrorism. So let's shift this to the blacks. Now, a senior counterterrorism intelligence official, from the Department of Homeland Security, who reviewed the document at FP's request, expressed shock at the language. It said, this is a new umbrella designation that has no basis, the former official said. There are civil rights and privacy issues all over this. The concept of black identity extremists appears to be entirely new. It's a FP found only 5 references to the term in a Google search. All were to law enforcement documents about domestic terrorism from the last 2 months. One of those online references is to law enforcement training on identifying domestic terror groups and criminally subversive subcultures, which are encountered by law enforcement professionals on a daily basis. Who is the black identity extremist? Oh, it's getting on my nerves, these people. What domestic terrorism act have they committed? What? I want to know. Oh, they're looting in the street. You know how many Caucasians loot after they win championships? But you're not coming up with terms about that. I mean, this whole thing is stupid. And they just making up stuff. But once again, that's why I say the new criminalization of blackness has begun. Now, among the 6 acts of premeditated violence linked to black identity extremists, it excludes violence toward police carried out in the normal course of their duties. The report cites the July 2016 shooting of 11 police officers in Dallas. The shooter, Michael Johnson, was reportedly angry at police, which he represented himself. And he clearly said, if those of you followed the case, he don't represent Black Lives Matter, nobody else. Based on Johnson's journal writings and statements to police, he appeared to have been influenced by BIE ideology. What is the BIE ideology? First, we need to define what it is so we can know what the ideology is. Okay, it said the attack took place during the Black Lives Matter protests of police shootings, though the Black Lives Matter movement is not mentioned by name in the report. Yet those involved in the Black Lives Matter movement have voiced concerns about FBI surveillance. So it's a DeRay McKesson, an activist involved in the Black Lives Matter movement, told FP that the FBI visited his house in the run-up to the Republican National Convention. He said, I spoke with the FBI. I spoke about the FBI visit to my house and the houses of other activists in our final meeting with President Barack Obama, he said. He says, there's a long tradition of the FBI targeting black activists, and this is not surprising, McKesson said. So the FBI declined to comment on the report itself and did not respond to specific questions, but in email statement to FP, the Bureau defended its tracking of black identity extremists, saying that the FBI cannot initiate an investigation based solely on the individual's race, ethnicity, national origin, religion, or the exercise of First Amendment rights. But you're targeting on race. You're saying black identity. I mean, so anybody who identify with Africa, or anybody who wants to have natural hair, or anybody who wants to do for self, or wants the black community to be a better place. I guess we all extremists then. I guess my shirt is extremist because I want to appreciate history. But notice, no one is committing these violent acts that you saw in Vegas. No one is running into Planned Parenthood clinics and shooting up the place. We're not doing that, but you got to criminalize black people. So they say in the August report, the FBI said it expects further attacks by black identity extremists driven by both the perception and reality of unfair treatment at the hands of police officers. So you say this is a reality of unfair treatment, but yet you won't make an FBI report about that. You won't say, listen, this is the reality. We actually putting this out here. We need to fix this so we won't have this. You get what I'm saying? So you're right, Sister Victoria. You are an extremist for wanting to exist. You're an extremist if you want your child to grow up and not get shot down by a race soldier. You're an extremist. And if you're an extremist for wanting your child to live, if you're an extremist, if you want to make sure you make it from your destination to your job and back home, or from your home to the grocery store, or whatever you're trying to do during the day, you're an extremist for saying, I want to live and have my constitutional rights and my rights as a human being. That makes you an extremist to speak up against that. I mean, listen to what these people are saying and trying to make you an equivalent to white supremacists. So they said the FBI further assess is very likely additional controversy in police shootings of African Americans and associated legal proceedings will continue to serve as drivers for violence against law enforcement, which this violence don't even happen. How many cops have got off? Let's go all the way back to Darren Wilson, all the way up until now. How many cops that's done something and got off, something happened to them? None of them. Not a one. They haven't had even a blade of grass on their lawn disturbed by black people. So this is a bold-faced freaking lie. These people know they're lying. Show me the evidence of every cop that got off Give me 4 of them, give me 5 of them, or some black people just bum rushing their house or doing something to them physically, whatever. You can't find it because I would have reported on it long time ago. These people just lie. And when I say that these people are their father, the devil, is because the devil's been a liar from the beginning. Some experts and former government officials said the FBI seemed to be trying to paint desperate groups and individuals as sharing a radical, defined ideology. And in the phrase black identity extremists, they hear echoes of FBI's decade-long targeting of black activists as potential radicals, a legacy that only recently began to change. They are grouping together Black Panthers, Black nationalists, and Wichita Nation, said the former Homeland Security official. Imagine lumping together white nationalists, white supremacists, militias, neo-Nazis, and calling it white identity extremists. Why not do it? You're doing it to black people and you're making crap up. They say the FBI is linking the people discussed in the report based on them being black. Oh, but I thought earlier that they don't do investigations based on race. That's what they said. But this person's saying they're doing it based on them being black rather than on any sort of larger ideological connection, the official said. The race card is being played here deliberately. Now, Michael German, a former FBI agent and now fellow with the Brennan Center for Justice, Liberty, and National Security Program, said manufacturing this type of threat was not new. He has criticized early FBI reports on black separatists, arguing that they conflated radical groups operating in the 70s with attacks in 2010 and later, even though there was no obvious connection. Now, let's talk about that, black separatists. They call the Nation of Islam a black separatist group. Now, what is the Nation of Islam advocating harm? I haven't heard it. I have not one time ever heard them harm anybody. Everything I've heard them say was black people stop committing crimes. Black people get an education. Black people do for your community. Black people create businesses. Black people create schools. Always do for yourself. Get off of that man's government. I haven't heard anything they said that say go out and harm anybody. So you mean to tell me that what every group do in this country, which is normal, taking care of their community, shopping in their community, banking in their community, schools in their community, when black people do it, is black separatism? I mean, it's stupid. And you can't show me no violence from the Nation of Islam, and I'm using them because they call them black separatist groups. You can't show me that the Nation of Islam brothers gunning down people or harming white people, or you can't show me that because I ain't seen it. You can't show. If they had documented cases of that, they'd have busted them up a long time ago. They just don't like the truth they telling. That's all. And notice something. If black people is the problem, and let's talk about black separatists. If black people are the problem, wouldn't you kind of promote black people to kind of get to themselves and do for themselves and stay out of your way? I mean, wouldn't you kind of want that? I mean, since black people are the problem, I mean, I would think you would promote that and say, hey, I'll help you to try to do for your community. I mean, that would be the great thing, right? I mean, that way you won't have nothing to complain about. But see, these people, they want you around. They do. They don't say they do, but because the thing about it, if you're away from them, what do they got to say? Now, they said even former officials who view the government's concerns about black separatists as legitimate balked at the term black identity extremists and point out that the threat from individuals or groups who want to establish their own homeland is much less than the far right. Of course, because the far right is not asking to have communities. They want to have violence. That's what they want. These right-wing extremists. So they say in 2009, Daryl Johnson, the Department of Homeland Security Intelligence analyst, warned of the rise of right-wing extremism. Setting off a firestorm among congressional critics, Johnson, who left the department in 2010, said he could think of no reason why the FBI would create a new category for so-called black identity extremists. He says, I'm at a loss, he replied when asked about the term. He says, I have no idea why they would come up with a new term. Trump, Jeff Sessions. Speaking of Jeff Sessions, right now, Jeff Sessions is trying to investigate Harvard University admissions. You know why he's trying to investigate that? Because if any group of people, black, Hispanic, Asian, Arab, whatever, get into a college like Harvard University over a white person, then they're saying, oh, well, the only reason they got in is because of affirmative action, when the studies show affirmative action benefit white women more than any other group. That's the only reason that really affirmative action stay around. But they don't want to talk about that. But so they want to look at these admissions. Now, to get into Harvard, you have to be a smart individual. They're not letting anybody in there. Oh, I'm going to let the black guy in there with a low SAT score. So this guy got a 700 on the SAT and he's going to Harvard. That's not the way it works. The black person has to meet those same requirements like anybody else. The GPA, the SAT, or the ACT, whatever they're taking. And they have to afford Harvard too. They can't just say, oh, I'm going to let the black guy in or the Asian guy in, and they can't afford $60,000 a year. It's about $65,000 a year to go to Harvard. So you got your folks got to be kind of well-to-do, and Harvard don't be giving a bunch of scholarships like that. Maybe if they do give some, I don't know, but for the most part, they don't. Now, they say there have been concerns about rising violence among black separatist groups in recent years, he said, but it does not approach the threat of right-wing extremism. When talking about white supremacists versus black supremacists, there's no such thing as supremacist. You can't have two supremacists. How are you going to have black supremacists and white supremacists? Show me how black people can be supremacists in this country. You can't logically show me that. And they know that. There are way more white supremacists, the guy said. So for historians and academics who looked at the history of FBI surveillance of black Americans, the report also smacks of the sort of blatant racism the Bureau has worked hard to leave behind. As they, from the time of J. Edgar Hoover, took over the anti-radical division of the FBI at the height of the first Red Scare in the 1919, the Bureau began systematically surveilling black activists. Black protests get conflated for the Bureau with communism, and it begins there. Now, they say the professor at Washington University in St. Louis who has researched FBI's monitoring of black writers in the 20th century. So what's following Cardinal Maxwell was decades of FBI pursuit of black radicals in the belief, often mistaken, that they were a part of a larger subversive group, is deep in the Bureau's DNA. He said lately they seem to be changing, as FBI Director James Comey famously kept a copy of the Martin Luther King Jr. wiretap order on his desk as a reminder of the Bureau's past abuses and made new agents learn the history of the FBI's pursuit of the civil rights leader. The FBI also appeared to be focusing more attention on the threat of white supremacists. In May, the FBI warned that white supremacist violence was growing, according to a report obtained and published by FP. That same report noted that white supremacists were responsible for more attacks in the U.S. Than any other extremist group, including Islamic extremists. They know that. They know this. So why the new term for black people? If you know they're committing the majority of the attacks, why do this? This is purely racial. This is purely our white supremacist chief, Donald Trump, doing what he would do and instructing his people to go after black people. Okay. Sister Victoria, that Bernie Lug, get them out of here. I don't need them here. Critics, however, accuse President Donald Trump of shifting attention away from right-wing violence. This year, the Trump administration decided to focus the Department of Homeland Security's counter violent extremism program on Islamic terrorism and deprioritizing funding to counter white supremacist groups. So to hear there's a new initiative targeting the black identity extremists is surprising given that shift. This next one say Maxwell, the Washington University professor, had even darker view. He said it's classic Hoover style labeling with little bit of maliciousness and euphemism wrapped up together. He said the language black identity extremists strike me as weird and really a continuation of the worst of Hoover's past. In a sense, the FBI's desire to identify a unifying ideology underpinning to what are often individual violent acts is not surprising. Let me see here. Let's say security agencies want to perceive a threat that is political, a threat that's ideological. Garrow said, but what we're actually witnessing is men, almost entirely men, acting out in violent criminal ways and grasping at some chimera of political justification. But they say the document itself smacks of incompetence more than conspiracy. According to Garrow, who received the report provided by FP, they said the immediate instinct is to think the FBI are a threat. He said, my immediate instinction is to wonder whether they are minimally competent. Well, under the Trump administration, there's a lot of people that's stupid as hell. As we can see, they have no sense. He said Garrow, who's reviewed decades worth of FBI documents for his work, warned against seeing this report as proof that the FBI is illegally targeting Black Americans. You heard what he said? Illegally targeting Black Americans. None of this has any legal bearing. Okay. Now look at the next step. They are often clueless, he said of the FBI. I don't find them a threat. He said, but the former Homeland Security official said the report's tendency to lump together different groups that have no opposite connection will make it harder for law enforcement to identify the real threats. It's so convoluted, it's compromising officer safety, the former official said. And even though the report mentions in a footnote political activism and strong rhetoric by themselves don't amount to extremism and may be constitutionally protected, it identifies anger with police or anti-white rhetoric as indicators of potential violent threats. But yeah, they could talk about Black people all day long, and that's not a violent threat. So if you want your community to do better, if you keep seeing your children being discriminated against with their hair in school, or the police shooting your kids down, and you say, I really can't be around that, I got to get to myself. Yeah, now you're extremist now. Okay. You haven't committed no violence. You ain't done anything. Just the term Black identity extremism is protected, the former official said. You can identify all you want. The FBI, however, defended the classification in a statement to LP. Domestic terrorism groups differ from traditional groups in that they take action for a different purpose to bring attention to social or political cause, the FBI wrote. Therefore, the existence as a group has a legitimate purpose, at least in part. Their legitimate activity may include acts of protest, advocacy, and civil disobedience. Now, they said the FBI says there are 9 persistent extremist moves in the United States at present. That includes white supremacy, Black identities, militia, sovereign citizens, anarchists, abortion, animal rights, environmental rights, and Puerto Rican nationalism. How is animal rights and environmental rights extremist movements? I don't get that. And Puerto Rican nationalism, I haven't heard no Puerto Rican nationalism go blow nothing up. I haven't heard any of that. But this is what these people have put out. I mean, this is stupid. This whole thing is stupid. I mean, they just making stuff up to just, like I said, just to try to criminalize Black people. So the thing is, of course, we always must understand to adapt. And let me talk to those activists out there that's always in the street. You gonna have to learn to adapt with new tactics. Sorry. You have to use new tactics. Martin Luther King showed us that the best tactic is a strong economic boycott. That's all they understand, capitalism. You can't get out there in the street with them because they looking to do all kind of dirt. And that's why they locking you up. They're locking journalists up over there in St. Louis right now. We got to come with new tactics. But see, it's easier to protest than it is to be disciplined in a boycott. It's easier to protest to be disciplined to not watch the NFL, because some people rather go out there and protest than boycott the NFL, because it's hard for some people to try to boycott something, but you have to stick with it. If you look at the Montgomery bus boycott, They didn't let black people on them buses because they felt bad. They stayed off of those buses over a year, and then they say, oh, no, we got to change this. We can't get the black dollar. That's how we're going to have to do it. And that way, they don't know who's involved with what. They can't mess with you in the street. They can't do crap if you start boycotting. Now, this is the thing, and we have to talk about this. Black people, statistically, are at the bottom. We are. We don't have a military. We don't own that. We don't own the banking system in this country. We are in control of the jobs. We are in control of the natural resources like your lights, your water, your gas, the essentials, your internet, your cell phone. We aren't in control of none of those companies that provide any of that stuff to us. Okay. We aren't in control of the police. We aren't in control of the Senate or Congress. We aren't in control of anything in the White House or the Supreme Court. We aren't in control of our local city government, city council, judges. We aren't in control of any of that. We aren't in control of the DAs. We aren't in control of anything. We're literally always a sitting duck. So the question is, and we think logically, but also we're going to start speaking spiritually too. Why is it that the people that have everything I just described are afraid of the people who have nothing? Just think about that for a minute. Why is it you have 50 cops show up for one black man? This cop got a gun, taser, nightstick. He got everything, but he's afraid of one black man. Let's think about that for a minute. They are afraid of anything about us. If you have your natural hair, that draws some sort of fear and offense. And I have sat here and paid attention to it. They can never articulate an argument to show what's the problem. They don't even know what's the problem. But it's something about black people that draws a natural fear with them, even though they have everything. So you got to question, it doesn't make sense when you have everything on your side. There's no reason to fear anybody. You shouldn't be more arrogant toward the people that's way at the bottom because they don't got crap as a collective. Now, the difference with us, we have staying power. We are great survivors. Like slavery should have wiped us out. We should have been done. 246 years of that, we should have been done. We have been the most resilient people in the midst of horrible treatment. And one thing Jane Elliott said that stuck up in my mind, he said, the greatest offense black people has done was to survive because they've done everything they could and we still are here. Now, spiritually, this is what I feel in my heart spiritually, that the reason why we're hated so much is because we are the true people of God. I believe that because even Jesus said that when they hate you, remember they hated me first. So I believe we are the true people of God. And I think personally they have us hostage here. And we was having a conversation many times before that what if black people all of a sudden say, you know what, they have a great exodus. Those people to me will be like Pharaoh in the book of Exodus, that they may say, okay, go. We don't want y'all here no more anyway. And then on your way out, they'll come show up to stop you from leaving. Just like Pharaoh tried to stop them from leaving. Because they know that it's something special about us, but they don't want us to go. Because think about it, when we contribute all over this society, they can say everything they want. But if we truly insignificant, why can't they stay away? Why are they so worried about us? Even though they have everything in their possession. They have all the resources. They have everything stolen. But yet they're worrying about a group of people who don't have anything. They fear a group of people who don't have anything. I mean, I couldn't even imagine looking at a person's hair and it draws great offense to me and it bothers me. Like, I don't know no person's hair that bothers me. What you do with your hair is your business. I don't look at Asian people and just hate their hair, Or I don't look at white people and hate their hair, or Hispanic people, or any other group of people. I have no dealings with somebody's hair or how they dress. I mean, as long as they're dressing appropriately, and what I mean by that, I don't like that sagging your pants off your butt. I think that's, to me, any guy who's doing that look homosexual to me. Sorry, do. Or women showing everything. I mean, if you're not doing something like that, you're just dressing. I mean, why would I be worried about that? We have to look at what they so consumed with. They consume with how we speak. They consume the way we speak. When you're defending yourself to something, why you gotta get so loud? That's just the way black people talk. Black people sometimes talk a lot with their hands. They get afraid of that. Every time it's fear. If three black people are talking together on the job, they looking. What are they talking about? Let me see what they're talking about. Always worried about what black people got going on. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about on the job when I say that. These are the things that we constantly have to deal with. It's unnatural. All this stuff we're reading is completely unnatural. Because to have that much concern about a group of people who are literally don't have nothing doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And if you start really breaking down their ideology, how they live, I mean, it's going to make your head hurt because it's nothing common sense attached to it. Even when they call the term black supremacist, I think it's funny because in order for you to have black supremacy, you must own resources, and show me at least one resource black people own in this nation to be supremacist with. Like the lights is turned on in here. Okay, if black people own the lights and you had to go through black people to get all the lights in America, and then it was discriminated against you because of your color, then that could be something they could be supremacist with. Can't be no supremacist without resources. You can't be a supremacist without money. And name calling isn't supremacist. It's name calling. And that's far as black people go. It's name calling. Black people are great at that. But that's all you have. We can't affect no other group of people at anything except roasting them. That's it. So what is words at the end of the day? Not nothing. You could blow them off. You can call somebody a name all day, but they still in control of the banking and the jobs and the resources, and they control of everything. So how you can't have black supremacy and white supremacy. Either you have one or the other. That's it. And we know reality, we have white supremacy. It's just a little term. So like the terms they use called reverse discrimination or reverse racism. I mean, listen to that term they're saying. So basically what you're saying is, and you get bothered by that. So racism, discrimination was only meant to be on black people and being the recipient of that. You weren't supposed to have that on you. That's why you call it reverse. You get what I'm saying? Why isn't it just called discrimination? Why isn't it just called racism? I mean, this is the things, and for me, it do get tiring. It do, because to try to wrap my mind around it, the thought process, I can't get it. I can't get it. It's like I got way too much things in my personal life to be concerned with what other groups of people are doing. Like, a lot of you say, why they come over here if they don't like what you say, or why they trolling? Because it's like they have an obsession with black people. And I say that based off of what I see. I'm not making that up. Black people not trolling them. Black people not going to all their websites and harassing them and making fake pictures of white people and doing all this stuff. They're not doing that. They're minding their own business. Everything that we say they want to hear. They got trolls that troll me every day. Say all kind of egregious stuff. Try to sit there and analyze every video I make. But I don't care about other people. That's their business. But the thing is, and we'll start. Let me get this stuff set up to take calls here. But for me, it's just a bit much. It's a bit much, and I firmly believe this based on how they do things. I believe if they had to live I'm gonna say maybe 10 years in our shoes, You think the suicide rate up is high with them now. And that's what I don't understand. How is it you got everything and the suicide rate is high? Wouldn't you think black people's suicide rate would be the highest in the nation since we don't have anything? I'm just saying, since we don't have anything, you would think that. Let me call into this thing right quick. You would think our suicide rate would be the worst out of everybody's, and we don't have the worst suicide rate. Skype. Just give me a second. Let me call into this thing here. No call. Use dial pad. What is that number? Okay. Oh shoot, hold on. Come on. I'm trying to call into the Blog Talk Radio thing, so just give me a second. Oh Jesus Christ. This always happens. Let me see if I can call it again. Can I call this thing again? There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now I have that up. Let's see if we can get the number. What's the number here? Oh, there we go. Hold on, give me a second. All right. That's the number, guys, to call in. Area code 646-668-2356. Let me know. All you got to do is press the one button. I was kind of reading y'all comments, but yeah, press the one button. Let's talk about that. Black identity, extremist. Why is it that black people aren't left alone no matter what? Well, yeah, I'm right. And I'm going to put that comment up because it's true. Our suicide rate should be the highest in the nation, and it's not. We should have the highest suicide rate. All the things that we go through every day in this society, all the psychological. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, no. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. All the things that we go through, we should. You say turn back to the Most High, He would tell you what to do. Who said people turned away from Him? Y'all always saying that. Yeah, that's right. And thank you, Golden Black. Yes, when you call, please stay on topic. We talking about black identity extremists, and that's what we want to focus the attention on. So we go to the first call here. Area code 706. You on the show?
Hi, Phil. How you doing? I was in the chat room and things like that, and the only thing I wanted to say was about when people were saying you have to pray for our enemies and things like that. I just wanted to say that I'm not going to be praying for people who doesn't have our best interests, and these extremists and these people of power that's just trying to keep us oppressed. I don't believe that we should be praying for them. I'm not going to pray for anybody who doesn't have my well-being.
Well, I agree with that. I
And
think you
that's
should
all
take
I
that.
just want.
Okay, well, I think you should take that energy and pray for your community if you're going to pray for somebody. That's the one who need prayer.
Oh, of course. I help my community as much as I can because I live in the South, and we really need help down here. And it makes me very sad to see how our black people are not even helping our black people. They rather spend their money and other things on different like races and cultures and won't even help their own. And I've always been the one to support black businesses, black owned everything.
All right, and keep doing that, sister. I appreciate you calling.
Okay, thank you.
Well, and also let's talk about that. You say that, well, a lot of times black people don't support. You have to understand these people have spent their time in overdrive, even conditioning our mind. I was passing by television today, and if you really go look at your TV, which is rare for me to look at TV, but go look at your TV. Every time you look at your TV, you see only one group of people on that TV the most. You don't see the plethora of America on television. You just see one group of people, and you're conditioned in your mind to just see that group of people, or you never see nothing good about yourself. It's always you protesting, you a thug, you some sort of stereotype. I mean, you never see nothing good about yourself, and that has an effect on black people as well. Let me see. Let's go to the next call. Area code 661, you on the show.
Oh, hey, Phil. I was just calling on the whole black identity crisis thing.
Yes.
I want to get on that thing you just said about what we see on TV.
Correct.
It's just, I can really experience that because all the time I'll watch, commercials and stuff and see, I mainly see white people on commercials or hair, stuff like that. And when I was younger, I always thought to myself, how come I don't look like that? And I had some type of complex towards myself. And I seen that to my cousin because she watched Disney Channel. We all see what cartoons and stuff that's out. And it was one time I was doing her hair. I was about to let her be natural. And she said, how come I can't have my hair like the little white girl on TV? And I had a real long discussion with her. I'm like, your hair is beautiful. It's very beautiful. You don't have to be like this white girl on television to be beautiful. You beautiful the way that you are. Your hair is different. It's unique. And I even told her, I really wish my mom or my sister told me this stuff when I was younger. Mm-hmm. Because me telling her this, she's starting to love black hairstyles. She wanted her hair in beads and braids. She wanted natural. She wanted, all types of black hairstyles. And you know what? Her saying that, it really made me smile because you know what? Just me being around, just letting her know all of this stuff at a young age, it really give her a better aspect in life when she gets older. I'm encouraging her, letting her know that she's beautiful every day. You don't have to be like these girls you see on TV. And I do ask myself, we need more black people in television. We need our own stuff. We need our own image because, like you said, we see on TV we're viewed as thugs and we just not good people. They like to view us as that because that's what they want. That's what they want to promote. They want us to be viewed as these people that just cause destruction. But really, it's not us doing it. It's really white people doing that. They know how to keep their image really, really good. They know how to make themselves seem as innocent, all this other stuff. It's like the thing with the dude at the Las Vegas shooting. Mm-hmm. They tried so hard to make him seem like he was, like a lone wolf, knowing that that's not true. And this dude is a devil. It's like, why are you shooting at people? And I tell myself this, you'll never see a black person do this because that's not who we are. We're not savages. We're not killing people. It's really them. But they know how to keep their image real good. You know?
Well, sister, now you about to get on that list now. You talking like a black identity extremist now. I mean, teaching that child to love her hair and, teaching that child to love herself. You're an extremist now. So you better, you get on the list. You may get a visit. I'm letting you know, it's black identity. Then now you're an extremist, even though, like I say, shoot, black people couldn't even stockpile an arsenal like that. You talking about the dude in Vegas? Man, black people go in there and buy one gun.
Yeah.
You probably see number one, the white gun shop owner may not sell it to you. Or if you do get it, the ATF going to start showing up at your house. Say, hey, you bought that AR-15 and you wanted to buy about 50 magazines. What are you going to do with that? Like, why do you need all that? The ATF be at your house. They're not going to let black people get all them guns. Because that dude that had those guns, he bought them all legally. All of them were legal. He didn't have no illegal guns. So like I said, we can't even walk down the street without being harassed by the police. That's why we can't pull nothing crazy like that. I mean, we're over-policed.
Exactly. And then you talked about the whole suicide thing. You know, black people, we don't kill ourselves. We are strong and we have a better will in our life to not do that. But then you see white people doing this. You see the opioids and, the overdosing and stuff. It's really mostly white people doing this. Out of all the stuff that we went through, it should have been us being the ones that's committing suicide, but we're not. That explains how we are. Like, even though we went through all of this stuff, we're still standing, and we're standing strong.
Right. You're right. We should be the main ones just offing ourselves every day. Like, man, and like I always tell people, see, black people, you wouldn't want us to get in that condition. Because once you get in the condition that you have nothing to live for, like, that's the wrong person to get around, But, sister, I definitely appreciate you calling the show.
Nice to be on it.
All righty. Let's see here. Area code 843. You on the show?
Yo, what up, Phil?
Okay, how you doing? What's your name?
Hello. Yeah, my name's David. I'm from South Carolina, and the reason why white people hate us so much because they know we are the real Jews, and that's what I'm saying. All white people is going to hell. So y'all leave us in captivity. So y'all going in captivity. Fuck y'all.
Okay. How does that have anything to do with black identity extremists? Okay, I guess that's just what he wanted to say. He's off the phone. All right. Let's go to the next person. Area code 404, you on the show.
Hey, what's up, Phil?
What's going on? What's your name?
My name is George Daly. I'm Sishomaru on the chat. Sishomaru 3SD.
Okay, what's on your mind about the black identity extremist?
So the two questions you gave us to give an opinion on was what do we think about black extremists and why are they so obsessed with us, right?
Correct.
The word extremist is not really a bad term. When you look up the term on Google, it's someone who's serious or zealous or very single-minded about a political view or a religious view. Sometimes they take extreme actions, to get these to get their influence out or to accomplish something. But it's not really bad. If black people were really extremists, it wouldn't be so bad because we would actually be serious about what we're talking about.
Right. And so what's the second?
So it's not necessarily, the word itself is not necessarily bad. It's just that they spin it to ascribe it to certain actions they want. But if we as black people stand up for what we want and really be zealous and very serious and be single-minded about what we want, it wouldn't be so bad. We would actually be extremists. And why are they so obsessed with us? Well, the obsession is not really because of hate. It's more than hate. It's more than that. It's a means of survival. They want to more than survive. They wanna keep all the resource to themselves. They want to control. They want to extend their sphere of influence. So to do that, you can't have black people or other people exercising their freedom, because if black people exercising their freedom is a deterrent to their freedoms. You understand?
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Why only focus on black people? You have Hispanics, you have Asians. Actually, if you really want to, I'm going to keep it real.
Look in the news right now.
Hold on. I'm going to keep it real. Mm-hmm. If they really had a problem with somebody, wouldn't it be the Asians? Let's think about that. Asians in this country, male or female, make more money than white people, period, per dollar. They have more median income. They have less divorce, less abortion. They have a lot of businesses. Their communities are really intact, way more than the white community could ever be if you look at the numbers. So while white feminists are crying about equal pay, Asian women make 90 cents to the dollar, well over a white woman herself. So why aren't they focusing on Asians? Hold on. Let me finish. Why aren't they focusing on Asians when actually Asians is more of an economic threat to them than blacks? Why?
The answer is in your statements. The answer is in your statements. Just look at it. To exercise your freedom, you need power. You need influence. And Chinese have the power and influence. You can't fight them like how you fight blacks. They have more power. They have more influence. That's the point, Phil. That's the point. So the answer is already in your statements. You just need to look at them.
Well, that doesn't. I don't think you really get what I'm saying. I'm saying is, if you weren't about freedom, since the Asians would have more resources, and not all of them are Chinese. Not all of them are Chinese.
Look. It's easier to take the path of least resistance. The Chinese would give more resistance because they have more power. Look, when the Americans went over to China and tried to destabilize their country, what did the emperor do? He took extreme actions. He not only kicked them out and he started killing his own people to make sure that they wouldn't overdose on them goddamn drugs, man. Is what I'm saying? So you have to look at it. It's a power struggle, man. And those people who are obsessed with us are not the racists who are in the power positions. Those are the low trolls, man. They have nothing better to do than obsess with us. They need something to make themselves feel superior, like their boss. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have it. So they come to the black community and pick on the ones with the least, where they can find the least resistance. That's just how it is, man. It's not complicated. That's just how it is.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I'm not really religious, so I don't see things in a spiritual light. I look in the world. If God made this world, this is the only thing we have that's untouched by man to say we can examine and learn.
All right. Well, thank you for your call, bro.
And we won't be deceived.
I appreciate you. All right. So let's go to where can the sleep? Okay, I was looking at some comments. Let's go to the next one. I think this is the Air Code 707. You on the show?
How you doing, Phil? This is Kimberly, the True Royal family.
Oh, hello, sister.
How you been? There's something that I keep pounding on that I know some of us may realize it, and it was taught in my household by my father. We're always trying to look at where can we start uniting. And when I really started thinking about it and what my father did with me, what we have to do on a high percentage level is first deal with our immediate situation. And our immediate situation is the people collectively in our households that we can touch. If we do that on a high percentage level, then it would naturally bleed out in the community. Also, we should expect each other to do it, demand each other to do it. You know, it's like you should be pissed off with me if I am not doing what I need to do in my household with my family. That's the first thing. And we need to teach our royals, which is our children, about this system constantly, and stop thinking that if we move in white neighborhoods, and stop thinking if we put our children in white schools that everything is going to be okay. Because what I'm seeing over and over again is you didn't put up a lot of stories too, Phil, where you got some lost black kid that I give the one that you did that really, you just nailed it. It was some black kid that was sexting, and the white girl was doing it first, back and forth on the cell phone. Then they started showing pictures, and then they wanted to charge him. And you could see in his face he was clueless. But his mama thought, well, we're going to move to this white neighborhood. I never heard of a father anywhere around. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing. We got to stop thinking that we don't need our kings. We need our men, and we need to respect our men. And our men need to stay firm on their position. They have a position. We have a position. It's all about respecting each other, too, within our inner communities and our collective households. And we got to keep teaching and teaching and teaching and teaching. My father taught me to the day he died, man. And the man never lied. He never lied. So I think sometimes we'll look so broad because it's so overwhelming, because we're dealing with a war, and then we're dealing with the war within and everything. And these things will be natural. These things will happen naturally. And then we should expect each other to do what we have to do.
Correct.
That's all I have to say, my king.
And well, you know, like I said, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna make a statement. I'm gonna ask you a question and ask your advice on something. But the statement I was making, yes, you know, we have to establish, and I push this for men to be men and be leaders. When you have, you know, Benedict Arnold's making articles saying black men are the white people of black people. And then you have other Benedict Arnold saying black men are terrorists. And you look at what happens in Vegas. I mean, we have a lot of things that we have to, you know, challenge and correct. And also, you know, I had a conversation with a young man the other day. And, you know, this young man was fooling with a young white girl. And I told him, I said, look, brother, this is not the time for that. I said, she may not be racist. The family may not be racist. I say, but somebody is going to see you, or you may have to see a police or whatever. And I said, brother, you are dark skinned. This brother like 6'6". Mm-hmm. So you 6'6", young man. And I said, you are the combination of what they fear, tall and dark. I said, they are petrified of that much melanin and that height. I said, you'll be public enemy number one. I said, keep away from Becky. I said, we got sisters in our community just almost that color. That what you like. I said, you know what I'm saying? I say, find you somebody. I said, but leave them alone. And I think as black people, you talking about certain things, you want to see people go crazy. What if black people as a collective say, you know what, we're not going to date or even fool with them, and that's it, leave it alone. Boy, they'll start a war with black people if they don't want to fool with them.
Sure will.
Like, what? You don't want to date us? You don't want to, what you talking about? Well, it's not safe for black people anymore, you know, so we're going to get killed if we be around you. So, they actually may fight against other white people just to get access to black people, you know, but I just say that. And I mean, also, I'm talking about to the men, too, because, you know, I know they throw themselves at black men, and that's why I kind of hate when they say, oh, these black men want to fool white women. No, they throw themselves at black men. They touching black men. They always want to put their hands on you.
And you're right. You're right, because I worked in construction for 17 years, and I've had a lot of black men tell me, and I ain't gonna be too raw about it, that they have met white women, don't even know her last name, and she on her knees that evening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the sex drive is a really strong thing and stuff. And I wanted to add one more point. If we are doing what I said on a high percentage level, Phil, I would want my children to marry your children because that keeps us strong. That's why I keep pumping that out. I don't believe you should force people to marry people, but in order to keep us strong, I know what you were doing across the street. You know what I'm doing across the street with my children and everything. We kind of got a sort of the same belief system, and that's what I'm looking at. And the other thing one more thing I want to add to this, and this crap about leaving home real quick, we have become a group of separatists where we want to get our own car, our own place, and can't wait to get a hell away from each other. It is how you are at home. Are you at home laying up on your family? Are you at home building with your family so you can take the next step? It's, they didn't put this crap on our mind, and we really got to pay attention that how this system is really affecting our conscience. And this is where the family helps us a lot. And this is also where our men, we really need our men, because when y'all hear me speak with the compassion and the conviction, really what y'all hearing is my father. My father had a great effect on me, and he's passed on a few short years ago, and I'm seeing how important it is to have that father in the house. I'm not intimidated by alpha black men. I welcome them. You can't come to my channel disrespecting black men. You're not going to come to my channel disrespecting sisters. You're not going to do that. And it all goes back to my father. Anyway, Phil, I know a lot of other people want to speak, but I just wanted to put that out. And thank you, as always, my king.
Oh, thank you for calling, sister. Thank you very much. Let me see, get here and put it back on. Well, this is the thing. Hold on. Hey, Golden Black, call in if you can, and what's your area code if you do call in? Let me know. I'll take another call real quick. But Golden Black, see if you can call in for me. I want to talk to you too. Let's see what we got here. Who's they've been sitting here a while. Area code 216. You on the show?
How you doing, Phil? My name is Andre.
Oh, what's going on, brother?
Unfortunately, I'm gonna say what's going on. I've been watching the show for a couple of years and watch the turmoil with other people, all that stuff. But we're not talking about that right now.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say, unfortunately, for us black people, this is the problem. We keep playing their game, but we want to play by our rules. We're never going to succeed if we keep playing by our rules. You got to play their game by their rules. Unfortunately, you watch black people get killed by the cops. What happens? They don't go to jail, or you find people that these are cops are putting in, I put 200 people in jail for crimes that they never did. These people destroyed 200 families, put millions and millions of dollars into the system, and they get a slap on the wrist, or they don't do nothing. Or then what even worse is, fine, you killed this man over here, but we're going to give you $5 million. But guess what? The $5 million that we gave you is taxed on the poor people that we killed, that we oppressing. So that don't cost them nothing. And unfortunately, I'm not trying to condone violence, but these people have no consequences. When people have no consequences, they're going to continue to do what they do. The reason why the white people control America is, no offense, they had enough balls to come over and take what they wanted. And unfortunately, until black people come together and say, you know what, we're not going to take this anymore, or we're not going to stand for this and unite together, it's not going to do anything. We're going to say, hey, we're not going to take this. We're not going to do this anymore, whatever. But the problem is we got the feminist people, and they realize that we are more powerful than them. They realize that, too, our black women are more stronger than anybody. So they fragment us by get the women fighting with us. Like when you see like the sponsors leaving YouTube and anything, the reason why the sponsors, nobody gives a darn if you were watching a Pepsi commercial before a bad video. Nobody cares. But they realize, wait a minute, people aren't watching cable anymore. Most black people are paying attention to people like you online. They listen to you at work, wherever they are, they realize you are becoming a power and you don't spend no money. So the only way, wait a minute, how can we shut these black men up and these black women up from getting together? What do we got to do? We got to take away their reason for making shows. We'll go ahead and attack the sponsors and make it seem like this, and we'll get these women fighting here. Because once you, unfortunately, a lot of our women are emotional. Go ahead.
Brother, I want to interject. And how you counter that for, like, it's like a chess move. For every move they make, you got to counter it. Mm-hmm. So if they take away the incentive, this is why I say support us on Patreon. I'm not saying that for my health and because I want to. I really don't want to be asking for that. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is, you know, we should have, you know, at least 3,000 faithful people to be able to do that. Way I would never have to worry about YouTube. YouTube shut the page down today. I'll say I ain't worried about it. I'll put up another one tomorrow. I don't need YouTube because the people got me, and that's how you keep things going. Right. So that's what them folks have versus us, is that they could finance certain things. And I noticed that, like, let's say the Houston Flood Relief Fund thing we did with just 390 people, all the things that was 390 people that did that. So imagine, like I told people, I believe in the power of 3,000. You have 3,000 faithful people that's willing to get in the trenches with you and do different things. You don't need millions. You just need a few to make that change. And they know that. They know that better than anyone else. But you're right. People are listening more to social media and watching people more like myself than listening to the old heads on television or even the old heads in black media. Because at least the old heads in black media, they were trying to, you know, cuddle up with the Democratic Party and, you know, trying to shuck and jive just a little bit, but say they for black issues. So, yeah, things have changed, and they're trying to rein that in.
Well, one problem, too, though, we have is, Phil, I'm going to tell you like this. You know, as you see already with this terrorist incident in Las Vegas, you see how they know how to stay on code. They stay on code. They ain't called this man no bad names, none of that crap. Unfortunately, when one of our people do that, we got to stay on code, too. Because we got to play the game by their, we playing the game by, we trying to be moral to people who are not moral. You're not going to win a battle that way. Unfortunately, you will find out these people doing these things. I mean, unfortunately, things got to happen. If they're not going to jail, if they're not going to suffer any consequences, here's the question. Would you rob a bank tomorrow if you knew that you weren't going to get in any trouble? I mean, a lot of people are not going to sit there and say, well, that's morally wrong, I'm not going to do it. There's going to be a lot more bank robberies.
Okay, but also too, brother,
put all these people in jail or kill people and no consequences.
But brother, it's another thing. We can't. Let me tell you something. I get what you're saying about being on code, but at the same time, we aren't those people, and we don't want to relegate ourselves to those people, because if you really look deep into what they got going on outside the facade they put out in front of everybody, they're so happy and got everything together, but you look deep into their issues and they're dying at least estimated 91 or so a day for drugs and high suicide rates and mass shootings and all that stuff, and they always on this so-called code. So really, how is that code working for them? If you think about it at the end of the day, well, it's not working for them.
I got you right here, Phil. I'm going to tell you this like this, and unfortunately, you may not like to hear this, but I'm going to tell you like this. We'd all be slaves right now if there wasn't for people that stood up and said, you know what, I'm tired of this mess. That's what people, I mean, and unfortunately, as they say, you want to make an omelet, you got to break some eggs. And unfortunately, innocent, no offense, they didn't put seatbelts in cars until the right person passed away. That's when it's a law now to put seatbelts in cars. Unfortunately, you know, you can't play a game with people who are willing to kill. They don't care about anything. You've seen our government have done many of things. I mean, come on now, Black Wall Street, look what they did to the Indians. I mean, you fighting with a people who have no morals. I understand that people will say, oh, well, they're going to be just below, we're going to go high. But no offense, sometimes when we got some people that's going to say, well, look, I'm not taking the high road, I'm going to go the low road with them. And we just got to, you know, instead of downing them, we just got to just let them do their thing.
That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying. Hold on. That's not what I was saying. That they go low, we go high. Because if they go low, I believe in going low with them. That's why I trade insults constantly in my videos, and why I tell black people to say certain things, because that's the only way they get it, right? But what I'm saying is, don't compare them to us, because we aren't the same group of people. We are totally different than they are. And I'm not saying not to stand up for ourselves and make change. I'm not saying that at all. I get what's going on, and some things going to have to change. Period. But hey, we have to see how that goes. But brother, I appreciate you calling, though, brother. All right, let's see here. Hold on, I'm gonna get down to you. Where you at? I saw you, Golden Black, in here somewhere. Is that Golden Black right there? Area code 702. Is that you, Golden Black?
Yes, it's me. Hey, Phil.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much.
Oh, hey, yeah. We were talking earlier. We were talking about the Black identity extremes, but I wanted to ask you a question. It is related to what Sister Kimberly was saying about fixing certain things in our household and our community first, in order to deal with some of the problems. Now, and the other brother was talking about staying on code as well, right? Okay. So the question is, in my position, I'm always stuck with decisions all the time. I'm filtered a lot of stories from within the community, outside the community, and I always have to make a decision. Should I air this or not? Some things I want to, but then some things I say, So let's talk about something. I'm gonna get your opinion about it. Stories that has to do with crime in our community, which I hate it, and I probably get more angry about it. Okay. So do you think that we should shy away from those stories, or just focus on the constant that we're focusing on now?
In my opinion, as Black people, every day we are barraged with negative images of Black people that is put out by media, whether it be mainstream media or whether it be like, your miscellaneous white dude on YouTube or on Twitter. We're constantly barraged with negative images of ourselves starting from a very young age. So I do not think that it is wise for us to give other groups of people, particularly white people, ammunition to use against this, because then it becomes like, oh, look, well, even other Black people are saying it about you. Now, that's not to say that we cannot talk about anything. If there is an issue, like if it is truly disgusting, where it is just something where it is like the embodiment of Satan in human form, then it needs to be talked about. Like, major stuff should be talked about. But all of this, like, small, petty stuff, I don't think that it should be aired.
Well, let's see. I saw a story of a sister that, I don't even want to call her that, had scalded a 4-year-old child of hers to death. And the child was like, Mommy, why are you doing this? And the child died. Okay. Now, this is within our own community. And even if I try to air something like that, because child abuse is real in anybody's community, and definitely ours. The comments that come by, like, no matter what I say, and I could just focus on Black people, I don't have to focus on racism. No matter what, that's where the comment's going to go. No matter what. I can say it light as possible. And, yes, I think about being on code too, because I had got a plethora of emails. You going to talk about that shooting that happened at that church by that Black guy? Nope. Why? Because I was being on code. Let them talk about it.
Right.
They report on it more than I will report on it.
Well, I think any violation, any crime committed against a child, that's serious. So if it's something against children, then we shouldn't protect child abusers regardless of what their race is. You know what I'm saying? Like that dude who killed that little 8-year-old boy because he was trying to save his sister from being raped. Like, even though that was a Black family, we shouldn't sweep shit like that. Like, that was disgusting. Any crime committed against a child like that needs to be aired, especially if it's child abuse or something to that magnitude, because that was disgusting. And it actually took me about 4 or 5 days to even listen to a video about it, because it was like it unsettled my soul. And I have an 8-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter. I was like, I cannot listen to this. But we shouldn't be giving, child abusers any type of protection. That they don't have immunity in the community. We can air them out. That's no problem.
Because this is what you'll get. But this is what you'll get too. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's say I'll air that story, right? Then you'll have, forget the races. Mm-hmm. We're talking about black people. Then you'll have, you see, this is how them black women are, and this is like, so it's you never. It's like you never win for. I never could win on certain stories. That's why sometimes I was like, I want to disable comments on certain stories because I don't want to even see it on the board. You get what I'm saying? Because like I think some stories out there is important and we need to get out. And like I said, I hate to see the crime. I do, because I feel that how oppressed we are and what we go through. Why are you going to rob people that don't have crap? Or, shoot a bullet at an innocent child, or shooting up a club. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done videos like that, and I've been very upset because I hate to see one of us hurt one of us. Because I feel we strong and we can get rid of that element of Golden Black, and then we could link up together to go against that system. But we're too fractured.
Yeah, we are fractured, and it's very sad that the fracture exists, but really, you can just try to, work on yourself and how you, like as a black man, how you interact with black women, and as a black woman, how I interact with other black men to try to fix those fractures. Because it's like, I don't want to say like sometimes it's overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? Like when you just really step back and you just assess the situation from an objective point of view, it's very overwhelming. So like, you'll make those videos and people are going to say what they're going to say about black women, and people are going to say what they want to say about black men. But it's like if you're not on that, then like you just got to learn how to move past it. And maybe disabling the comments may be helpful. Make people hold on to that negative energy. If you want to say it, that's fine, but you're going to have to make your own video and talk about it and let people comment there. But you're going to have to hold that negative energy because I don't want it here. So that may be a good idea.
Yeah, because like, for instance, I made that video about the young lady, the Banana Republic. And it's one comment because I was speaking about, some black women wear weave sometimes due to the attacks, not always the self-hate issue, due to the attacks about their natural hair. They say, I don't want to deal with the problem, so they'll kind of cave in. And I was making that statement because I try to look at it from all sides in our community, what the women go through, what the men go through. And then you have some idiot saying, oh, you simping for black women. Like, what the hell are you talking about? I have lived life long enough to see what happens on jobs. So it's comments, like I said, some people, it's just ignorant, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always put in that position. Like this one person made a comment, they said it's a double-edged sword for me. It really is. And it's like the more we grow, the more I have to be cognizant of what I put out.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. The black men who actually care about the black women in their community and being called a simp, that's a problem. The black women who stand up for black men and being called mammies, that's a problem. So it's like it's almost as if people don't want black men and black women standing up for each other, and they're like contributing to the problem. But I don't rock with people like that. I block people and I keep it moving because to me it's very problematic. And when you start doing stuff like that, then I'm either going to have to write you off as a coon or an agent, because at the end of the day, when you say stuff like that, you are furthering the divide between black men and black women. And, I cannot stand for that. It's a problem. So I don't play that like true royal family. I don't tolerate black women bashing, and I do not tolerate black men bashing. But I'm glad you brought that up, Phil, because that has to be addressed about how people will, talk down on you for actually standing up for your the opposite sex within your group. And I don't know if it's because Black men and Black women have been divided for so long, and it's almost like done on cue, and people don't even realize it because it's, you know, it's been the norm for so long. But that's definitely an issue that needs to be addressed.
Oh yeah, hey, I see. Everybody saying Cynthia in the room. Hey, Cynthia, call in if you in the room. If she's in the room. Hold on, let me see here. Yeah, I'm not kicking you off. I'm just saying, Cynthia, if you're there, let me know if you're calling in. But anyway, somebody say that you know, you probably having a dilemma. Phil's probably having a dilemma with his content. I have a dilemma with my content daily. It's not a new thing, because I have to choose. Like I say, it's always a choice. What's the trend now? What's trending? What can I bring? But also, what kind of message? And what's the theme I'm gonna do for that day? And it has to flow within the same message of what I'm doing. I mean, like, people don't, like I said, it is like Golden Black. It's stressful sometimes trying to make those decisions.
Yeah, I really love your channel. I appreciate your content. I respect your opinion. And, you know, we went, you know, head to head about your videos, but I really do appreciate your platform, what you're doing. I support you 150%. I support you on YouTube. I support you on Patreon. So it's like, you know, we're not going to agree on everything 100%. Nobody does, but, you know, we're a family. We talk about it, and, you know, we keep it moving. But I definitely appreciate your platform and your point of view.
Well,
and
I definitely appreciate it.
You're very logical.
Hold on, Golden Black. Hey, Cynthia, you on?
I am.
Oh, okay. What's going on, Cynthia?
Hey, Sin.
Hey, Golden Black, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, except that I got another channel taken down, but that's a different story.
Oh boy, they still with that?
They still are. You know, they're never gonna stop. So my my live channel got removed today. So I'm gonna get it back up though. I'm definitely gonna get it back up.
Okay, so Cynthia, I'm pretty sure you heard about the Black identity extremist. Well, what do you think about that from the FBI?
I did. I was just reading it. I was just reading it, and the thing of it is of course, it's just a revamped version of COINTELPRO. But my issue is that Black people are going to let this ride. I know they are. We're going to allow this. And this is, just like someone said, this is a very dangerous thing, because now if Black people get together for like family reunions, now you have a bunch of Black people congregating, so they must be plotting terrorism against the country. I mean, it's a very dangerous thing for us to allow, but my frustration is already beginning, because I know it's something we're going to allow, although this is clearly their way to make a Black equivalent form of racism, since their terrorism is being highlighted right now. So now they have to deflect, and they have to say, well, look, Black people are doing it too.
Right.
That's what I think it is.
Well, they don't like
because did you notice in the article? Did you notice they said in the article, not to cut you off, but they said in the article that the FBI decided to come up with this right after the Charlottesville white supremacist attack.
Well, actually, it was 9 days before.
Right now, it's
Cynthia, it was 9 days before Charlottesville.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, the thing of it is, the country isn't at a loss of right-wing terrorism. So the bottom line of it is, there was an event in between Charlottesville. So they're just, it's their way of being manipulative. And unfortunately, I just know it's going to work, because we tend to be extremely passive. We're not on code. The only time we show aggressiveness is when a Black person suggests that we don't lay up with white people. So to me, it's another thing that
is already an issue, the fact that they're putting it out. But the fact that I know our response to this is not going to be what it should be, that's what's irritating me right now.
Yeah, it just tripped me out. But I know, like I said, it's like I said, COINTELPRO all over again. Like I say, anybody who identifies with, like I was telling earlier, a young lady, I guess you're a black identity extremist too, because you're teaching your little girl to love herself and have natural hair and identify with being black. I guess all that's extremist. Shoot, Cynthia, you extremist. I'm extremist. Everybody extremist, I guess. That's why you have so many. That's why you have so many trolls, Cynthia. Because that's paid government trolls.
Oh yeah, they've been told me I was on the terrorist watch list. I don't know how they came up with that, but the thing of it is, look at the way they're doing this black identity extremists. They're vaguely defining it. They're not telling you how to identify what these black identity extremists would be beyond having an issue with police brutality. So basically they're saying anyone who, we have to identify these black identity extremists, but the only thing that they're mentioning is anybody who has a problem with police brutality. Well, that can manifest in a number of different ways. So how would you identify one of these black identity extremists from just a regular black person? Like, how would you do that? And they're not defining it so that they can just target any black person.
Right. Like I said, the new criminalization of blackness has begun. Like I said, we all knew it was coming. In between Sessions and Trump, we knew that stuff was coming. I mean, it was just a matter of time. I mean, and now it's here. So, like I was saying earlier, they need to start choosing different tactics on how they're doing things, but getting in the street, saying Black Lives Matter, not changing anything either. And that's when the race soldiers go out there and pull out all their equipment and start harming black people. So we got to figure out different tactics because, in the streets, it's just not working.
Right. But the thing of it is, I think you said we need to, not they need to. Because I was going to say they're not really doing anything that they haven't already done. We're falling for their same old tactics and we're responding to them the same way, which is going out and marching and protesting and praying. The fact that they're still allowing black people to protest means that it's ineffective. Because if it was effective, they would actually be doing something to stop you from protesting. But they're fine with black people. Yeah, they'll use it to demonize and say, look at black people, they're thugs and criminals and they're looting. Yeah, they can do that to use it to their advantage for negative propaganda. But the fact that they're allowing black people to protest means that it's ineffective. To me, that means it's completely ineffective. But what I wanted to ask you is, because I know me and you tend to look at certain things from a spiritual aspect, although we don't really, we might differ in terms of, religious beliefs or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think we do both agree that a lot of these things is happening. It has a spiritual element to it. So what do you think in terms of, because of course we know they're dying out. There's a number of different things that are occurring, they're dying out. So there's things that they're doing, and what do you think in terms of this being one of those ways that they try to thrive to, as a result of them dying out? I'm just interested to see if you think that that's in some way connected to it.
Well, like I said, I'm definitely spiritual on a lot more things. And when I looked at what's going on worldwide with them, the low birth rates, the low sperm count, the high suicide rate, the middle-aged men in their community just dying for no, apparent reason, the opioid crisis that they have, the crystal meth epidemic they have, they're hiding, very well. They're spending so much money on Narcan, like reviving heroin addicts, and it's breaking their budgets all over the place. They can't figure their budget out in Congress. They're trillions of dollars in debt. They can't figure out anything with China or North Korea or whatever. Then what I'm looking at is their downfall is happening, and I believe God is sanctioning it because no one is doing them anything, and yet they're falling, and they can't do anything about it either. Mm-hmm. What I'm also seeing is that spiritually, everything that they really have done to other people, not just black people, the Native Americans, you have, like I said, Africans, you have, other groups of the Aborigines who wiped out in Australia, all these different people the different groups that were wiped out when Columbus showed up for just being nice to them. That innocent blood has cried out for revenge for a long time. You have by estimated 20 million babies who's been murdered through state-sanctioned murder of abortion. Whether you agree with abortion or not, it's still murdering children. This country has killed more children than King Herod killed in the time of Christ, when he said to kill every male child 2 and under. This country has done more of that, and that innocent blood has cried out to the ground, to God, for revenge. Now, it's going to happen. It has not by our hand, but it's going to happen by his hand. And I see it in what's going on. I see it every single day. And in Sister Kimberly, I want you to read something, Sister Kimberly. Read Revelation chapter 18 about the fall of Babylon. That's America. Read it, Sister Kimberly, when you get a chance. You're going to trip out when you read that whole chapter. One day I woke up and that chapter was on my mind, Revelation 18. But one thing that said that, now I've been preaching this, and let me go ahead on and get to this one thing, Cynthia. Oh, in chapter 18, verse 4, when they said, "Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, unless you receive of her plagues." So that means we need to come out from among them and what they got going on. We don't need to be caught up, because the black people that was caught up in Vegas, that it was because they was in the area. You shouldn't be there. I mean, I don't want to be in no open spot no more like that, because I don't know what's going to go on. They have infighting with each other, Cynthia. Look at it. They infighting so much among each other. It's almost like right before the Civil War, how they was infighting. It's leftists. And
they are. They got a lot of problems going on.
And then I saw on 4chan.
I think... Oh, I was just going to add to what you were saying, because I think that all of that is true. I definitely, it's so obvious to whether if someone thinks that it's connected to biblical prophecies or whatever, okay, that's fine. I also look at what's happening. So if what's happening in reality just so happens to be in alignment with biblical prophecies, okay, then that's fine. I'll do that with black people. I'll definitely jump on that and do that. My thing is, one of the things that we don't do is that we don't anticipate what they're going to do next. So we keep being surprised by everything they do, because we're not paying attention to what they're doing around us. We don't pay attention to it. We just go around. Now, what I'm looking at what's everything that they're doing now. What is the narrative that they're doing now? Because they know that they're dying out. You have like these low-level white supremacists who could say whatever they want to, but at the end of the day, the powers that be, they know they're dying out. So I think they're doing either one or two things, or a combination of things. They either have the attitude of, we already know we're dying out, so let's get rid of as many black people as we can, because if we're going, black people are going too. Or they have the mindset of, let's work to, number one, because you have melanin being harvested. So obviously they're getting a hold of melanin. They already know the genetic difference between black people and white people. They know that black people are the original people, so therefore they have the strongest likelihood to survive genetically. So I think it's either let's get rid of the black people since they're going to, or let's use black people to keep ourselves around. And that's why, if you notice everything, you can't even get on a Google Play application without seeing an ad for interracial dating, specifically between black men and white women. I can't look at anything. And I was just noticing the overwhelmingness of it. I'm just like, I cannot look at any magazine or click on anything without seeing an interracial dating advertisement. It's saturated. So if we were to think and play chess and not play checkers, we would think about how white people are. When do they ever advertise something that's not beneficial to them? And it's like, so if they're putting out all of this interracial dating, then they probably see that it serves a benefit to them. And it actually does, because generally, if you look at the data, when a black person creates a biracial child, 90% of the time, probably higher, it's by way of a black man and a white woman, and that white woman is solely raising that child by itself. Data shows that that white child goes and procreates and marries a white person. And if that person, that mixed person, procreates with a white person, that's another white person that was created, except with better genetics. So either you have them thinking, number one, we're either going to exterminate these black people, or we're going to have them breed themselves out and mix with us so we have better genetics, and then we're not dying out, and we can go against nature's plan to get rid of us.
That's not going to work. Once your time is up, your time is up. And I can tell you this much: they're in the fourth quarter of their rule, and they're approaching the 2-minute warning. And every minute that gets closer to the 2-minute warning, they feel it. They're going to get more violent. They're going to get more crazy. That's what I see happening, because they know their time is up, and they could try to harm this group. They can try to harm that group, but it's not going to work. I mean, sorry, it's not. I mean, they literally have given all their wealth to China. Because of them, China's like the number 2 economy in the world. All the manufacturing jobs they're crying to Trump about is in China, because they gave China all their jobs. America's influence in the world has diminished. People look at America like they're crazy because they voted for Trump, obviously. So it's a lot of things. That's why I'm telling black people now, get your passport. Get your passport, get your passport. And let's see if we can go to some African nations, try to get us some property or something. Because if you got a bill for a little bit, at least you want to have the option to.
If black people start getting their passports at a high rate, they're gonna know something. There's some alarm bells that are gonna go off if black people a bunch of black people at one time start getting their passports. That's gonna, because they're not stupid. So, well, they're stupid, but they're also they're very observant, and they're obsessed with black people. They know black people is the key to their survival. So all black people go start getting passports, that's going to alert something. They're going to make it harder for you to get passports. There's a reason why they made it where if you're a felon, you can't leave the country. And they just started reversing
but let me tell you about that, though, Cynthia.
Why a felon couldn't leave the country.
Let me tell you about that. I know someone that has a passport that has a felony, and he said that certain countries you can't go into it with a felony. But some countries you can. They don't care about your felony.
I know they changed it. Yeah, I know they changed it, because I know a guy that has a felony too. It's a non-violent felony, but it's a felony nonetheless. Mm-hmm. But it used to be in the past, because my sister had a hard time getting one with a misdemeanor on her record. So in the past they did have it, but I think so many white people are now getting felonies and drug felonies that now they're catching up to it and saying, okay, well, let's lift these restrictions so that you can leave the country with a felony. But the thing of it is, certain things that they do does work, and we don't look towards the past to see what they've done that works. They've bred out people and whitened their population, so they very well could actually be planning to do that with black people, because it will work. If they mix with a black person, they have black genetics, therefore they're more genetically stronger. Then they don't risk dying out. So that's the thing. We have to look at stuff that they've already done, and they've already whitened out populations. All you have to do is do it in a strategic, planned way. So they actually could do it, and it's actually working right now. It actually is working, because most biracial kids go marry and procreate white. You keep procreating, then you have a white person, except with better genetics. This is actually something that Frances Cress Welsing talked about in her book. In the ISIS paper, she actually talked about that, and she talked about how that you would have a white person with better genetics if they keep procreating with black people. Now, my thing of it is I believe, because they do multiple things at one time. They don't just stick to one agenda. I really believe they have multiple agendas, and I think that because they know that they're in a natural decline that cannot be stopped. But you probably could stop it if you procreate with those who are not in a natural decline, and improve your genetics. And I believe that that's one of the things that they're trying to do, in addition to vastly lower the black population, if not just eventually try to kill black people off.
Well, I mean, shoot, Cynthia, they've been trying that for hundreds of years, and we've still survived. Like I said, their greatest threat to them right now outside of us is Hispanics, because that's why they want that wall, because Hispanics, they have more children than they have. I mean, they know that the little children in this country right now is more black and brown children in this country than white children. They know that. That's why Trump is doing everything he can to stop that from happening, but he can't stop the inevitable. This is why he did today with the Obamacare thing. He took away the contraceptive thing out of it, where companies can now say, like they used to do, I ain't paying for birth control. He's doing that because he wants to have more white babies. They're going to attack abortion too. It's coming. They're going to take that away, which I don't care if they take abortion away.
Oh, absolutely.
Take it away, because it killed too many black babies in there, that devil Margaret Sanger. And this country sanctioned the killing babies. That's why I say they got a lot of payback to do. So that's why I'm saying we never sanctioned to kill our kids like that. But what I'm saying is, and then they so evil, they put them Planned Parenthood clinics in black neighborhoods. They don't put that in the white neighborhoods. They put fertility clinics in the white neighborhoods. So them little white girls to get pregnant, they can go sneak off to the black community and or other areas, brown areas too, get their cheap abortions and then run back and so daddy don't know they got pregnant by Tyrone. They don't fool me. I know exactly what be going on.
I do believe that. I definitely believe that. Today I was thinking that it doesn't make sense that they would push, let's get rid of all these immigrants because white genocide is occurring, while they're simultaneously over promoting interracial dating. And I think that's what to me that doesn't make sense to me. Like, because wouldn't one message counter out the next? I mean, if you're worried about immigrants over here so that you can have white babies, why are you simultaneously over promoting interracial unions? That doesn't make
Cynthia,
any sense.
You're not getting it.
That
Cynthia,
you would be doing that.
Cynthia, you're not getting it. You have two warring factions within their community. You got the old white supremacy and the alt-right and all them other ones. They're not promoting that. The white liberal is promoting the interracial dating. And that's the problem. The old white supremacy like Trump and Sessions, like, hey, we don't need all that. We need more white babies in this country. And because any union with a black person, that child is black and assessment of white supremacy. So that's the problem. I don't hear Richard Spencer out there promoting interracial dating with blacks and whites. Or what's the other one named Jared Taylor and all them other ones. They're not promoting that. David Duke. They're not promoting that. That's the white liberal promoting that. So that's the problem they have.
Right, but that's still, but a white liberal still doesn't advertise anything that doesn't benefit them. So it still raises the question: how do they perceive that this interracial dating poses a benefit to them to the degree that they would be overly promoting it? And it's in every magazine. All you see is a black man with a white woman and some mixed children. Like, that's my question, because we all know, whether right wing or left wing, they're all white supremacists. Mm-hmm. So how would they see that it is an advantage to them, which we know they don't do anything that doesn't benefit them? So what benefit do they see that interracial dating poses to them? Because it poses some benefit to them, or they would not be doing it.
Maybe you're right on that.
Even if
it is an agenda, but I think it's more so probably an anti-black family agenda, if anything. Not so much a benefit to them, because if our family is broken, then they still benefit the most off of our brokenness, because they get all our money. They get, the best of our community, instead of having it all circulate back within the black community. So if they can promote those images to black boys constantly of, hey, always being with a white girl, you always got a white woman teacher, everything is a white woman in your face, then maybe those black boys procreate with them and be with them, because they fear families, especially black families. They don't like to see brown families, or like to see Asian families. They only want to see their families or a mixed race of their families. So that's what I see with the whole thing, but it's not going to work. They could try. They could bed winch all they want.
I do agree with that.
It's not going to work. I don't think it's going to work with time, because you don't have a whole class of people. Look, the only time a whole class of people ran amok in America is right after slavery. You had about 600,000 so-called mulattoes was recorded on the census, and that's because slave master was raping black women like it would no tomorrow. 600,000 people. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now
Yeah.
they predict by 2040, now they say maybe under 2040, they'll be in the minority in this country. I mean, it's not really benefiting them to be having all those babies with black people, because usually those white people are cast out by the David Dukes of the world and the Donald Trumps of the world. They're not considered part of the group. They call them mud sharks and everything else.
Yeah, they can call them that, but in reality, it does benefit them because most biracial kids marry with white people. So you have once that white biracial person marries and procreates with a white person, well, let's throw out marriage. Once they have a child with a white person, that's creating another white person. It's not creating another black person. So that it wouldn't, because if it was really posing as something negative to them, do you think they would be promoting it like that? Because usually white people don't promote things that are disadvantageous to their community. They only promote what's a benefit to it. So that's my thing. They wouldn't, I don't think that any of them would even be allowed to promote it if it wasn't a benefit to them, because back during Jim Crow, it didn't matter whether liberals or conservatives wanted to interracial date, it was still illegal. You couldn't do it one way or another. So I just think it wouldn't matter if the liberals did want it. I think if it didn't pose a benefit to the overall white collective, it would not be allowed to happen. So that just makes me, because I try to look at every single thing they do, I'm used to trying to think of what their next step is going to be, and that's what's usually helped me to prevail in legal situations with racism at work, is because I always think, okay, what are they going to do next? What would I do if I was a sleazy racist demon and I wanted to get someone? That's how I think. So to me, I have to consider every single thing that they might be doing, and I have to consider, why do they feel like this is beneficial to them? They obviously feel like it is beneficial, and whatever's beneficial to the white community isn't beneficial to black people. So that's what I look at.
But you also have to understand, they don't have, like when I was growing up, and probably when you was growing up, you had more black family shows because they don't want to hear or see the black family. Like, so you had the Cosby Show, you had things like Family Matters, you had what's that, Sister, you had A Different World. You always had so many family type shows. LL Cool J would say In the House, all kind of different shows that show black families, and you don't see that on TV anymore. And they replaced that, like you said, with that dynamic. So my thing is, I feel black families make them fearful, because when the black family was together, it's when we were more powerful, like during the civil rights movement. And how we built things after slavery, towns, or your Black Wall Street, your Black Broadways, and all those other ones. So, of course, the black family is the nucleus of everything. So they want to try to stop that. But like I said before, it's not going. You think it's going to work, but at the end, it's not going to work because their time is up. And they know this. They could try. They tried a whole lot of things, Cynthia, but it's not going to work.
Well, I agree. I don't think it is going to work, but just because something doesn't work doesn't mean they won't try. But I agree with you. I don't think it's going to work, because the reality is there's too many different areas where they're failing in, whether it's infertility or suicide or murder or something, because at the end of the day, that shooter, Stephen Paddock, he didn't go target a black concert. He targeted 22,000 mostly white people.
And I'm
so
interested.
It's like after they got a lot going on.
I'm interested to find out his motive. I'm waiting to hear them say what his actual motives are, or his cell phone records or something. I want to know why he did it. I want to hear his reason why he did it. I gotta know. They got to put that out. Why he did it.
Gonna say.
They don't have to call him a terrorist. I know they're not gonna call him a terrorist, but I just want to know why he did it. I don't care if it's political ideology. I just want to know why he did it. That's it.
Well, the thing of it is, first they were saying it was ISIS, right? First they were saying he converted to Islam, and he pledged his allegiance to ISIS, the typical one. But a lot of people said that they're reading articles and seeing news clips where they're saying somebody was shooting from different hotels and from multiple floors of different hotels. So right now, a lot of people are saying that this was multiple people that probably could be suspected as a militia.
We don't know. Like I said, we'll see the official story they want to put out. I'm gonna say that much. Because I'm just interested to hear what they gonna come up with. That's just it on that. But yeah, Cynthia. I'm gonna see if I can get one more call
What's
in.
the dilemma on your content?
My dilemma? Oh, what I was talking about earlier was I'm always having to make a decision on what I put out. Like we were discussing earlier with Golden Black. When you want to talk about crime stories in our community because it affects us, then you worrying about, you don't want to give too much ammunition to the racist, of course. But then you could counter that with, they already know the stories out there, so what ammunition are you giving them? Then, you say, well, I want to focus and stay on code and talk about these issues, but I care about other things in the community. So it's always a dilemma, and that I have to make a decision on what I talk about, because I want to try to put out the right content, but also the content has to flow with the vibe of the channel. So that's basically what I was talking about earlier.
Okay, well, yeah, that sounds about right for anybody that's doing, what we do and talking about what we talk about. But all right, I won't tie up your line. Thanks for allowing me to call in.
Oh, that's all right. You good?
Okay, well, I'll be watching the rest of the show.
All righty.
All right, bye.
All right, let's see here. Somebody else told me, let me see. I know some people like, why he had, I'm going to let a few more. Air code 404, you on the show. Air code 404, you on the show. All right, I'm moving on. Air code 205, you on the show. Nobody answer? Okay. Air code 818, you on the show.
Big good. How you doing?
You got to speak up. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now, Phil?
Now I can hear you. What's on your mind?
All right. Yeah, man. I'm just looking at your topic. Criminalization of us.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you on this. We got a lot of examples of it in the media these days. I seen your poster of the young lady, our sister with the hair that they tried to get on, just while she trying to doing her job,
Right.
Yeah, man. But this stuff been going on, man, and like you said, it's just getting worse this year. Ever since this new presidency, it's just enhanced it. And it's sad. We see countless examples of this in the media today.
Yeah, so what you think about the Black Identity Extremist label? What do you think about that?
The what? What'd you say?
The Black Identity Extremist label the FBI came out with?
Wow. I ain't heard about that one.
Oh man, you got to go watch the replay. Go watch.
Black Identity.
Yeah, I can't. Well, I ain't
when did this come out today?
Yeah. You can go watch the replay, and we go through the whole article. It talks about that. But man, brother, I appreciate your call.
Well, another thing. All right. I ain't gonna type your line, Big Phil. I wanted that.
All right. Let me see. Move on here. Air code 864. You on the show? Well, it picks up. Air code 864, you on the show? Okay, you don't say nothing. Air code 407, you on the show? If you don't say nothing, I gotta move. Air code 315, you on the show?
Hello?
Yeah, 315, you on the show?
Hey.
Hey, what's going on? What's on your mind?
Bill Scott, that's it?
Yeah, you on the show. What's going on?
Yeah, I heard about the stuff. It's getting worse and worse. Like, I don't want to say. How long that you say that extreme is going on?
Did you read the article?
I ain't read much of it.
Did you read it at all?
No, not just read just a little bit of it.
Okay, and what did you read about it? How far along did you get in the article?
They talking about the lone shooting. They talking about extremists.
Okay. Black Identity Extremists, the article. Did you read it?
Not all of it.
Okay, the part did you read? What is it talking about? Black Identity Extremists. Why did they come up with that term?
And you look at the Google where they talking about black extremists. The street turn of it.
Well, do me a favor, man. Read the article, and then, like I said, just call back another time. Like, come on, guys. Come on. I'm trying. Don't get mad at me. I'm trying. It's come on, y'all got to read the article, man. Come on. That's the only thing I'm saying. Erico 317, you on the show.
Hey, how you doing, Phil?
Hey, what's going on? What's on your mind about Black Identity Extremists?
Personally, I just got done reading the article, and I think this is kind of excessive on the federal government's part. I mean, labeling black people collectively, not even specifically saying, Black Lives Matter or this group, that group, collectively, pretty much stating that if we're raised to believe that we're this or we're that, we're told to believe in ourselves, we're told that we're beautiful, we're told that, your skin is perfect the way it is, and some people are just not going to like that based on, the past, how it was. Them labeling, that's pretty much what the article is aiming at.
Right.
Them labeling that as an extremist thing,
right.
That is I don't want to get too vulgar, you know what I mean? So I don't really talk like that, period. But I'm not trying to get, kind of out of hand on the subject. But I think that's the biggest bullshit I've ever seen. I'm not one for the race baiting. I'm not racist. I'm not for separatists. I mean, sometimes, I know the channel is kind of based on certain ideologies about black people separating from white.
Wait. Stop. Why do you assess my channel is about that theme? Where do you get that from?
Black separatism?
Yeah, you said that my overall message is that. Why do you think that?
Oh, no. I definitely didn't say overall message. That's absolutely not what I said. I said sometimes you can't convey like a little, how should I say, just like a little vibe I would give about being, like you actually even mentioned it a couple of times, and I think a couple of videos I've seen.
Mm-hmm. What did I say?
You said we should. I think the most recent one I've seen. So black people, we should move back to the South, something like that. Go back to the South, and then take over that region.
And why did I say that?
I don't remember. Recap that for me.
I stated that because we're scattered.
Which video was
well, I stated that because we're scattered all over the country, and we don't have a nucleus of black people anywhere. And I think we are safer as a collective when we are more around each other than scattered in places like you're like 1% of the population of a town or 1% of the population
that's
of
what
a
it
state.
was. You were talking about the Utah thing. That's
yes,
what
sir.
you were talking about.
Yes, that's what I was talking about.
I remember that. But see,
right.
See, in general, like to come to a conclusion about that, that still technically is separatism.
No, it's not.
I mean,
no, it's not.
Don't get me wrong. let me finish that one up a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. To specifically label it as somewhat a word as strong as separatism, that is kind of strong. It is kind of a far stretch. But at the end of the day, in America, let's just be real about this. It doesn't matter whether we go around it, we say, no, this means this, that means. To most people, and we know who those people are, that's what that's going to seem like.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Let's stop. Hold on. Let's stop. So, wanting to, how can you build the black community when you're not even around black people, not nowhere around them? How could you? And why is it called separatist when black people say let's build our own communities?
You're doing that right now.
Do what?
You're doing that right now, brother.
How?
You're building a black community as we speak right now.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, hold on. Every other group builds their communities, and there's nothing wrong with that. Why, when black people want to build their community, it's called separatism? It seemed like a bad thing. Why?
Right. That's why I'm pretty maybe I said a little shaky. I'm sometimes I can't get misunderstood, but that's not what I'm saying. It's not a bad thing. I mean, if we want to build each other up, I'm all for that. 3,000%. I'm not against that at all. But as I said, to the general populace, they're going to see it as something. We see it as ABC. They see it as XYZ.
Okay, who is they? Who is they? We need to define who's they. Who's they?
Oh, white America. Anybody that doesn't.
Well, in the words of hold on.
Doesn't understand.
Well, hold on, sir. In the words of DMX, when I asked him that question about his music, and I'm gonna say this about my videos, I don't make my videos with them in mind. I make my videos speaking to the black community. Now, I'm not saying I can't say anything they don't appreciate. I'm not saying I can't say anything that they don't relate to, because everybody has the same problems, just more or less here and there. But when I speak, I am speaking to the black community. So I'm not really worried about they.
Well, that's good. And I would hope that you're not. And I'm glad that you actually said that, because I definitely wouldn't give a damn about what anybody says either. But that's not really the point. My point is no matter what, that's still going to happen. Like me as a black man, I had to come to the realization as, like this is an example, no matter what, I'm going to be called nigger at some point in my time in my life, which it did just 3 weeks ago, walking down the street, minding my own business. So you see what I'm saying? Even though your message isn't towards anybody but us as black people, it's still going to be twisted, misused, and just have a general misconception by others outside the black community. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, and I don't care.
Yeah, that's good. But period, to go back to the black extremist thing, the FBI article. Jesus.
Hey, let me ask you a question, man. Hold on. Let me ask you a question, because they keep saying something in the comment section. You have a girlfriend?
Can you ask the comment section, why does that matter?
It's a yes, I do, no, I don't. Because I'm asking a reason, because the comment section is saying something. So I'm saying, do you have a girlfriend?
Yes, I do. Okay,
cool. Is she white?
But seeing that the comment section asks that's kind of threw me off a little bit. I wasn't comfortable with that.
Okay, with the comments, it's live comments going on with the calls. What I'm asking is, they're asking, is your girlfriend's white?
Now, again, I'm going to ask, wait, why the hell is that? Anyway,
it's a yes or no question, man. It's a yes, she is, or no, she is a question. Do what?
Well, no. I wish I can just ask the same kind of question to people that I don't really know, I'm a stranger to, and say it's a yes or no question, or I've been given, actually an objection to it. That's not how really the world works. You see what I'm saying? So you can't really blame me for just asking. Well, why are they asking that?
I don't know. I'm just asking because they're asking. I'm
not asking you. I'm asking. I'm directing that question at them, like to you. Like, you ask them why. Why is that coming up? Are they saying it? Because you are looking at the comments, correct?
Yeah, I'm reading them. So is she yes or no? That, like, they asking, not me.
Yeah. Destiny Wallace. She's a sister. Yes, she's black.
Okay, well, there you go. She says she's black. That's all. Now you answered the question.
Well, Are they responding? Are they responding to my question?
Yeah, they did. They did respond. They did respond. Some of them say why it took you so long to answer that question. I mean, so that's it. No big deal.
Well, no. Well, as that goes into, let me just retract that. Well, I wish I can just run up to somebody I don't know on the street and just say, "Hey, why are you?" They're like, "Well, why? Like, why are you coming to me asking that question?" I mean, especially that kind of question. I've never got something like that before. That's a very specific question.
Well, come on, bro. Nobody, come on, man. Nobody asking you for your social security number. Nobody asking you for your bank account number. Come on, man. Come on, bro. It ain't that serious.
No. Hold on, just hear me out. When you generally get a question like something that's like a question you never got before, it's kind of targeted, like at like a certain thing. Like you've been asked, like, well, why? Why are you asking me that? Like a white person randomly on the bus would ask me, hey, what do you feel about Trump's comments? Why are you asking me specifically? Why do you want to know? You know what I mean?
I've been asked questions about white folks before, just random questions, and either I answer them or I don't. They don't bother me to answer.
That's my thing. I've never got it before, so I want to know what's their intentions behind it. Simple, point blank. It's not really something that should be taken farther than what I'm saying as it is. I just want to know why. I don't know why that's becoming a big issue. See what I'm saying?
Man, it's over with, bro. You answer the question. It's like it's over with. It's the end, brother. Don't worry about it. You answer the question. It's good. It's good. Don't worry about it. You good. You good.
Why wouldn't anyone want to know like a reason behind it?
Man, you are good. You answered the question. You answered the question. You good.
Yeah, I understand. Like, don't blow it up, Phil.
I'm not blowing it up. I'm trying to bring you to a place of peace and tranquility. That's why I'm lowering my voice. That's why I'm saying we're good. There's no problem.
I'm farther. Trust me. I've been beyond that by the time I matured. Trust me. When I moved out of my mom's house, I've been past that point.
Okay. Well, like I say, you answered the question. You good.
Why that question came about.
Brother, I don't know. I just asked. I don't know. Look, when you go to the chat room after I let you go and go ask them.
But no, I'm sure they can hear me. All I'm asking you is, do you see why they're clearly they're asking, well, do you have a black girlfriend or not? So I'm asking you, do you see that yet?
Oh man, look, go to the comment section and go ask them. I'm telling you, go talk to them directly. Not through me. Just go talk to them if you want. That's up to you.
So so I should go talk to them, not through you, right?
Oh, okay. All right. Now, look, go talk to them. It's good. We ain't about to go back and forth about this for 5 minutes, man. Come on, bro. Come on, you.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like this is a double standard. You can ask them a question about me, but I can't ask you to just respond, vice versa. Like that's all I'm saying. It's not really a big deal.
What are you talking about?
Did you? Okay, you didn't. You say you ask them. You go to the comments.
Yes, ask them. You ask me.
You go look. Well,
look, bro. Look. All right. Look, you said.
Just look at the comments.
Okay, look, yes, go ask them. They asked the question. Go ask them. You can question them. The show's still going on. Thank you. Jesus Christ. He's like, you still going on about it. Like, go ask them. They asked the question. Like I said, I tell you, like, y'all the ones saying it, not me. I just asked the question because of y'all. Erico 252, you on the show.
Hey, I'm just calling in because I've seen the video, the article, parts of it. I won't say parts of it, a lot of it blew my mind. And I wanted to reference back earlier to the lady, how she said her father raised her.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of the stuff that she was saying, I was blown by that. The reason why I said it, like my family, I have some of them, I call it whitewashed, or you could call them Uncle Tom, because of they still had a yes master mentality. Or some of my cousins, like one time me and my black cousin was talking and he said he's not attracted to black women. And I was like, why? And I've noticed as I got older, his mom and some of my black side of family, they think they're better than some of the people that live in the hood. And she moved, and, you know, they lived in a white neighborhood, went to a white school, so I figured that had something to do about it. And his brother, they got into a car. He was in a motorcycle accident. A lady had hit him while he was on his bike, and they were going to hold him a little service to give him some money. And the way how I felt about it, how they used to treat black women as I got older, when I was little, I didn't really, you know as much as I know now. And in order for them, or him, the younger boy, to date a black woman, she had to be really, really light-skinned. I thought, well, it's just a black woman. But, that's like, why aren't you going to give him any money? It's not that I don't love my cousin, but I can't see myself giving a man money that don't like black women, and he's going to use it to spend on his white wife. And going to the guy later on that came on after the lady, he was saying, like, in order to, if you want to make an omelet, you have to break an egg. It's very rare that you have a black elderly man that talk like that, because some of my black side of the family, on my mom's side, they have this thing where you're going to listen to that white man, you're going to do what he say. And me, when I was growing up, I can't see myself, having to relax my hair. I used to get when I was younger because my mom and them do that. But I can't see myself, going whitewash, how I said I called it before, just to miss what they say. I actually had a brother that was killed by the police. They shot him in the back of his head 4 times, and he was mixed with black and white, and he used to date black women, but, he dated a white girl, and he told her that he was moving back with his family. And she called the police because she didn't want him to go out the door, and he wasn't a rough guy. He didn't hit her or anything. He's like, you know what, I'm going to go through the back door or whatever. And,
No, she know who I'm talking to. No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Me?
My
Are you talking to me? I'm sorry.
No, it's my
Okay.
3-year-old. It was my 3-year-old. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. She called the police on him, and the police, what they did, it was all white police officers, and they fabricated the story so bad. If your handcuffs are behind your back, if your hands are cuffed behind your back, how can you reach your hand into the front of your body to grab a gun? So they were trying to say it was one police officer in the hallway, and the 3 other ones had went to some other part of the house. And they felt since he was a black male, they were going to shoot him. No, the police, they know what they can do and know what they can get away with. And another thing that I wanted to say, I don't mean to be too long-winded, how the lady earlier, I want to say you said her name was Cynthia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of the things she said I agree with. I want to say she may have overthinked it a little bit, like the movie Girls Trip that came out. I liked it, went to see it twice. The second time I went, there was 2 white ladies in there. I'm not racist, but I noticed there are some, white people that aren't racist and some that are. And, like how some black women, they go out, some have a good time, some act ratchet, some act a fool. So in a particular, like in each scene, like with the character Tiffany Haddish, I'm not talking about her bad. It's just like her particular role. You know how they had like the 4 friends that go, and you have that one friend. Whenever she or any of the other black women would act crazy, those white women were cutting up. But at the end of the movie, I can't remember the guy's name, his real name, but the name that he was playing in the movie, his name was Ryan. And he acted, he was like the black man, the decent man. And towards the end of the movie, his name wasn't Ryan, I'm sorry. It was a black girl named Ryan, and it was her high school crush. And, you could tell he had feelings towards her, and the way that his mom raised him, he said he's just looking for that one woman that's really and right. When he would come up there, the white woman, they looked like they were so uncomfortable. And I noticed when it got to the sex scene, I don't mean to say it like that, but that's just what it was. I noticed how going back to what Cynthia was saying, dating, some white women actually hate black women because they feel like they're better. And what I mean by that, I looked at it, some white women will do some of the same thing that some of the black girls that go out here and, how they say they act like, forgive my language, but sluts or whores. They'll do that same thing to pull the black man. But then when you look at it, like things in Charlottesville that happened, Charlottesville was sort of a wake-up call for some of those black men that act like that. Like I said before, I have some cousins that are like that. So it was sort of a wake-up call, but you still have some that's still clinging on to Becky. And then, just to bring it back into what I was talking about a few moments ago, how those white women that hate black women, they want to be black women. Like, if you were to go look it up online, I'm also saying this too for your viewers to look at. They have some spray tans that will, I'm like a brown color, that'll get them about as dark as me when I'm tan, like a dark chocolate. And one person had made a comment, I find it funny how they don't think it's okay for black people to be black, but it's okay for them to be black. There's also this Russian lady. She was white, blue-eyed blonde, and she, was pale white, and she got huge breast implant and butt implant, and she started getting the melatonin shots to make herself darker. And she said she wanted to be Christy Brown. Somebody asked her, well, "Do you want to be black?" And she's like, "No."
Okay, sister. All right, sister. Hold on. Let me slow you down. You went into a good monologue there, but I definitely appreciate you calling. No, that's okay. May the Lord bless your bones and bless your voice.
All right.
You have a good night.
You have a good night.
All right. Yeah, may the Lord bless her. We need to get her to start doing this live stream for me or something, because that sister can go. Shoot. Anyway, that's it, ladies and gentlemen, on the, at least on the call aspect of it, because I gotta get off of here. But let me end that right there. All right, cool. Anyway, so I don't know. I never seen the Girls Trip movie. I guess I catch it when they go to Redbox. I don't know. I heard it's funny, but I never seen it. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining us, tonight. Those who haven't seen it, catch it on the replay. And we'll put the links up in the a little later if you're interested in the life coaching, and, join us on Patreon if you can. And see you on the next video that we'll put up. We have an interview with a brother that's doing some great